Hey everyone, Scottish Sim Guy here. Welcome back to the channel. So here we have another build on Ladyhill that I'm going to show you around a little bit. But just firstly I want to apologise for the lack of content on the channel lately. It's just been absolute manic. As I have previously said, Mike's not doing well as well, so that's how I've not really done much on my series that's on Oak Bridge. So just been doing a few farm builds off of screen. Thought I'd do a little tour of this one. I've got this one on Ladyhill and I've got another one on Oak Bridge to do as well. This is the first one that I've finished, so just thought I'd give you a little tour of the farm that I've built, show you what changes I've made and things like that, to little bits of the map to make it more playable for myself and what I'm wanting to do. This probably will be a series, but it's not going to be a role play or a let's play or anything like that. I'm going to do it as time lapse. Just I'm really having problems with my mics. Found out it's not the mic, it's a software or something that I'm using to record that's just not making it clear enough. So I need to do some digging into that. So until I get that sorted, I'm going to lay off the series now. Just so it's really annoying me, the sound quality. Anyway, so here we are on Ladyhill. So now we're heading up to where I've built the farm. So what I'm going to do is jump on and show you where the farm has been built. So it's been built on field 140 here. The shop is down here, so just in reference to where that is. The last build I did on this farm, this map, was in here in field 132, so this one's been done in field 140. I've purposely not put a house on it, main reason being I'm using this here, so you'll see it there. Now I have made a few changes, and the only real change actually I've done is you couldn't see that house originally. The trees were along here and along there, and you could hardly even see getting through a driveway. So tractor mulcher mulched down the trees, got rid of them, made it nice and open. Placed myself a mat down there. There's a sleep trigger, and this is basically my house, which is just down from the farm. So if you look up on the distance there, you will be able to see the farm. So we're up this little road here, and then in here on the left hand side, so swing in here, and then got a pasture with cows there, up through this little track, and this brings us into the farm itself. So I'm just going to jump off the quad bike and show you about a little bit. So silage clamp here, tyres, bags for sheeting the pit. We've got a machinery shed in here, so we've got a Class Jaguar 830 chopper. We've got a 560i John Deere combine. We've got a 7530, and we've also got a 6930 Red Rock silage trailer, horse cultivator in there. And we've got our sheep barn across here, nothing in it just now, as we've obviously got everything out because it is August. Hay shed basically put down. Think that this kind of shed here and that grain shed there are both the Lancy boys. So basically just decided to put grain storage along one side, put the pit in the ground there that elevates up and into there. So that's what I've done with that, rather than stacking any straw that in there. Couple of silos for mineral feed and stuff like that there. We have our straw and our hay shed in here, with a little partition along the back there that you'll see when we go round the other side. So that's a 6930 there. So I just wanted to try and, UK style. It took me a while. I put buildings down, I deleted them, put them back down, just to try and get it a little bit more UK feel, kind of a little bit tighter, not too open. So we've got kind of seed and fertiliser there, fertiliser spreader, our Lemken plough, Bailey grain trailer, and then we've got our big cattle shed here. So we've got some younger calves in here now while the cows are out at the grass. We've got our diesel tank there, and we've got a trigger there for our workshop. I was going to use the workshop I always place down, but the time I built the farm it just didn't fit in it anywhere. Our John Deere telehandler, seeder, square baler, and our Pottinger front and back mowers there, and we've got our dung heap in here with our dung spreader, and we've got the calf barn here, so our young calves are in here. So just our youngest calves in this one. And then out here, so this is a new lizard storage tower, slurry tank. It was just released the other day on Mod Hub, so I've stuck that down. We've got some silage bales sitting across there, and then we've got our slurry tanker here, and then this is where the header sits for the combine, just in this wee bit here. Put a little partition along there, just to make it a bit different. So you can access this pasture from down there or up here. So yeah, just tight. Getting round here with bale trailer and things like that as well, and getting in here with a slurry tanker, you've got to kind of get yourself nosed up right in there and reverse round. Nothing's easy on a UK farm. Not one that's been modernised and made a bit bigger for the equipment, but nice and tight. Between two sheds coming off the side of sheds and things like that. It's a common sight. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump up into construction mode and just kind of show you from above. So here's coming up from the road, swinging through. Now obviously can't delete the hedges of that, so that was the gate into the field there, and I wanted to make sure that I wanted to have the farm where it is, so decided to put a little track along here, and that's worked in really nicely. And that's kind of the outlaying of the farm. Not too big, not too small either. 225 horsepower tractor's the largest with a 6530. It's been chipped, and then 6930 sitting at 185 horsepower chipped. So that's kind of the lay of the land, what we've got to play with. And then we've got obviously a sheep pasture there behind. So I'm going to jump back on the quad bike and just show you some changes that I've actually made through the rest of the fields that I've taken on to play this. Put the pressure washer and that in there, so you see decorations, as I always keep saying in all my videos, decorations make a farm build. I might, by the time I play this, even have stuck some more down. I don't know if you guys see it or that, but coming in from here, so turn around, coming in from here, brilliant, looks like a farm. Right from that view, looks like a farm, lots of tat lying about, and as we come up here, that's fine, and I just get to here, and I don't know if it's because that shed's right ahead of me, but there's something missing just right here. It seems just too plain shed there. I don't know what to do here. I don't know if anything can be done, but it just doesn't seem right, just this bit right here. So I've got my bins there, and you get to this point and it's just, there's something missing in about here, whether it can be some detail on the ground or what, I'm not sure, just to make it, I don't know, it's hard to explain, but in my eyes something's just not right there. But then as you get up here, you know, we've got a good bit of decorations here, decorations sitting over here. This kind of feels good as well. And then obviously some stuff sitting about there and sitting about up there. So it's just, there's some, whether I need to put something down there and put some stuff again. Yeah, so there's just something missing there, whether I can just put something, some decorations up against that hedge just to make it feel some ground texture here, a wee bit of grass or something, a wee bit of mud. Just, it just seems too clean there for me. Right, so background to what I was going to be doing, and let's get on this quad bike and take you around and show you a bit of what I've made different and other little bits. So we'll head back down the way first. So we head back down the way, and we've got another pasture down here on the left hand side. So I'll tell you what, we'll go in here first, right? We'll go to this pasture on the right hand side. So I've got a pasture in here on the right hand side. And if I jump up into construction mode, so this was just a grass field, no fence round about it. So I put a fence round about it, made it into a pasture for the cattle. Seemed like the best thing to do there. So coming down here, this was a narrow track, and this gate right in front of you was the access into here, and there was basically trees all the way up to this post here, are just covering that post. So we get a combine through that to come in and combine that field, near on impossible. So decided there's no cattle grid or anything. There was, in 22 I used to use a curbstone and I used to make my own cattle grids, but there's nothing, so I had to make do with this. This is technically a cattle grid. You'll see it in some places, especially here in Scotland, hill places. You'll have a gate on one side, a cattle grid on the other. The traffic flow over the cattle grid, but the gate, if they need to move any cattle or that, sheep, you can open up the gate and they can shift them like that. So get one quite a few hills round about here where I live. So that's why I kind of thought, put a makeshift cattle grid in here, and with that, that gets you in here without having to open up a gate or anything like that. Now that brings us down into this plot here. So this plot was this field here with this track going down here. So it was just a mud track, then a grass field here on the right hand side. So what I've done is I've fenced it off, ran a fence all the way down that there, and I have put in a gate and I put gravel down as the track, rather than the mud that was there, because the mud will get a bit messed up quite easily. So that's what I decided to do. So unpop that and then, so yeah, so that's the kind of difference that I've just made in here. Just put that fence in. Could have put some trees or that along there, but just decided not to bother. Just put the fence in to keep it as two separate fields. Now you can jump up over this, and then there's a pasture up over the other side of the road here as well. So filled with some of the dairy cows in it. So what I decided here is, if I want to expand by other fields, there's a few up here in the back, and the only way into them is to go through other fields. So I decided, now eventually there might be a fence goes up the side of that and another gate to get in there to feed the cattle in the pasture, but I put a track up the side of this field here that leads you then up to here, which then in turn I jump up here, and the construction that gets you into this field, and then from this field that gets you over, yeah, so it's right in the corner here, that gives you access into that field, and that field which then gets you access into that field. So that's the only way really to access those fields is from other fields, and then the only way to access that field's from that field there, and the only way to access that field is from this field here, which is then through that field, and then you can get into that field there. That's the field we were just in. So yeah, so basically coming up here then, if I was to take on these fields, I could potentially run a track round the outside of that just up to here, and that gets you into all them. And then we do have this big field here. This is our biggest field. It's a bit away from the farm, so you've got to travel along the road and along this track. The only thing is, it's going to be tight for the combine because that's one gate into the field. So another gate there, but with a double gate there. So if I can get through that gate, or even that one, they're the same size as this one, so you could come down that track there, but I think the idea would be it would come up here and reverse the combine through that gate if I can get through it. Hopefully. It's going to be tight, but that's the biggest field. So we'll see. Ideally, if I could just delete that gate there. If we could just delete gates on Ladyhill, it would make a big difference, but unfortunately we can't. But so that's kind of that there. So that's the plan. So as of the farm, we've got that field there, that field there, that pasture, this pasture. That's it as far up here as obviously we've got this field here, that's the furthest away one there. I have this field here opposite the farm road end, and we've got a sheep pasture there and there. And I'm going to jump back on the quad bike and I'm going to show you where the rest of the fields are. Don't have a clue what happened there. Right, shut this gate behind us. And we'll get down. So I've got taken on some fields, some grass fields and that down past the farm, just to give us a good few fields to start with. Majority of, I think there's 3 grass and 1 crop, but a crop I don't want to do, so it'll end up getting ploughed in. And there's a kind of rough bit at the side of one of the fields, the big gullies running through it. So I've kind of smoothed them off, and I've made that a pasture as well, and I've got actually got some sheep in it. So that's a sheep pasture in there. We've not got that field on the left hand side, we don't have that one on the right hand side either. And then down round the corner here, and we've got down here. So we've got in here. So we've got this field here, and then I've got 3 in here, so I've got this one here. So jump in the quad bike. So we've got this grass field in here, which there was holes and gaps in the way, so I put bits of fence in and trees just to fill the gaps in. And I've got that field there, and then we've got the one in the back there as well, so I jump up. So we've got that one, and that one there, and we've got this one, so done the same here, fence in there. But basically for the grass fields you've got to come into this one, into that one to get into that one, and then down here go along this little track that I've put in along the side of this field, which takes you to the sheep pasture. So this was just a rough bit of ground that wasn't in crop or anything. If you go into construction, no, not construction, go into the map, see these kind of bits there? So they were kind of rough bits, kind of gullies almost. So I kind of smoothed them off so I could basically lay the pasture. troughs and that down, and I've made it into a sheep field basically. So another little bit to put sheep. You could end up making it a field if you wanted to. So that's just kind of some of the changes that I've made on it. Not too big changes. Obviously the farm's the main change in that field, and then just done little bits to the fields that I wanted to take on and use. But basically apart from that, that is all that I've done. So really enjoyed the build in all honesty. That's the thing, I get into the build and I spend so much time getting it ready. It's not so bad with Ladyhill, I've kind of kept the field sizes, but especially if you're an oak bridge and you're cutting down the field sizes, and if you've taken over a field, it's not a field that you want it, what you want in it. You might want to make it grass, so sometimes what I find is I actually play the game a bit, get the crops in the fields that I want to get in the fields, and then so I've got a bit of work. I'm doing that now on the one I'm doing in Oak Bridge now, so I've got a bit of work ahead of me before I get that finished and ready to basically become a video. But I've done the build is finished. I've just got the field work to do, and that's a big difference, so I hope you all enjoy that one as well. But for me guys, that is basically it. This is another farm build on Ladyhill by FS Landscaping. If you haven't, go and check him out on his YouTube channel. His link will be in the description. Again guys, I will put up a link to all the buildings that I have used, everything that I've used to build this. I will put that in the description as well. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe. It does make a big difference to us guys. So again, thank you very much for watching. Hope you have enjoyed the build, and we'll catch you on the next one.